Dear Washington Park High School, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Jacob Nelson. I'm a sophomore from the Blue Academy. On Wednesday, March 14th, 2018, schools nationwide were planning to do a walkout to peacefully protest gun violence. At 10 o'clock, they were to walk outside of their school and protest gun violence in their own way, as long as it was peaceful. That was the plan, right? Well, if you know anything about Park, you know that Park is notorious for screwing things up. This was by no means an exception. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't the students' fault that this thing got messed up. It was most definitely the staff's failure. So a few days before the protest was to take place, the staff at our school announced that we would have to get a pass in order to go outside. I can see how people might think that that's a good idea, to avoid truancies and whatnot, but that completely defeats the original purpose of this protest. The idea was that we were going to go outside regardless of what other people said. This was a student thing. The staff was never meant to be involved. Not only did it kind of ruin the purpose of it right from the get-go, it also allowed students who didn't really care about the protest, it literally gave them a free pass out of class for them to just sit around and talk to their friends. Which, again, it kind of ruined the purpose of it. So, come the day of the protest, they're still handing out passes, and in fact they've run out, so they have to turn students down. That's just... If you're gonna do something, make sure you do it right. The plan was, like I said, to go outside at 10 o'clock, right? Well, at 10 o'clock, all the students who had passes were called down, not to go outside, but to wait inside of a theater, okay? So we all piled into the theater, sat down, and then our principal decided to talk to us for 15 minutes instead of letting us outside. Once he was finally done droning on about whatever it was that he had to say, he finally let us outside. I wouldn't say let us outside, actually. I would say he escorted us outside. All the staff members were guiding us and leading us outside to the back of the school, to where our track is. The idea was to go into the front of the school where we could be heard, and they completely just... They kind of just shut us out. They forced us into the back where no one could see us. And then we stood in silence for 17 minutes. What they made this into was a memorial, not a protest. They turned it into a memorial for the kids who had lost their lives at Florida. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with a memorial. That just was not the time for a memorial. That was our time. That was the students' time to protest, and they completely took that away from us. So, in our 17 minutes of silence and being stuck behind the school, they both literally and figuratively silenced the students. And just know, to anyone who's watching this who might have an issue with me, I'm not speaking just for myself. Everyone that I have talked to after this protest has agreed that it was completely ruined. That was the students' time to talk and protest. I even had my friends messaging me things. They were saying things like, "It was honestly so stupid, they just controlled us." The fact that you needed a pass is a protest to our protest. Whether or not it was intentional, it was just another way to silence the youth and the voice that we all have. The staff interfered in a student protest. I even had one friend who wrote an entire paragraph. Who isn't mad about it? It wasn't even a protest. All we did was be silent for 17 minutes, but that wasn't even possible. Students couldn't keep their mouth shut for 10 seconds, let alone 17 minutes. Also, some students that wanted to protest couldn't because there were no more passes because of the students that just wanted to get out of class. The thing I don't get is why we all needed passes at all. It was supposed to be a protest, but it became a thing that our school controlled. I'm done. You know how teachers are always talking about how you should respect other people's time to talk? Like, you don't talk over someone or interrupt them? Well, they just became huge hypocrites because that's exactly what they did. They took away our chance to speak, and they made it their own thing. That is extremely disrespectful to everyone who wanted to protest. Now, in light of this ruined protest, I don't even know if you could call it a protest anymore. Like I said, it was more of a memorial than anything. The students are going to have another protest. We will plan another protest without the teachers' involvement. The staff may try to get involved, like they may have to issue passes again, but if there's anyone who truly wants to protest this, we're not taking the passes. We're doing this completely on our own. We are going to walk outside of our classes, outside of the school, and we will protest gun violence the way that we were going to originally. This is going to be a student protest. If I can slip in just a bit of a personal message here. So for those of you who actually went to the assembly, you'll know that our principal, while he was talking, he yelled up to someone, "Hey, stop recording, that's really disrespectful." I'll admit, that was me recording. And I just want to say to our principal, I think you had the wrong idea of what I was doing. I wasn't recording to be disrespectful. I was recording to document what was going on that day. Since this was a nationwide thing, I knew that this thing would be huge. I mean, this could show up in history textbooks years on from now about when the students nationwide walked out of school to protest gun violence. So I thought to myself, you know what? I better cover this. I better have video of this. I need to document this because I know no social media is, no like news stations, nothing like that. No one is coming over to Park. Because if I'm being completely honest, no one in the public cares about Park. Park is honestly a bad school. And what I really wanted to do was, like our principal always says, he tells us that when someone's talking badly about Park, we're supposed to stand up and say, well, what about all the good things that happen at Park? And that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to show people that, hey, we actually care about what's going on and we're trying to do something about it. And in me trying to show people that we're actually doing something good, you took that opportunity and you completely ruined it. And you know, now that I think about it, you probably didn't want media coverage, did you? You didn't let us go outside when we were supposed to, which if there were any media coverage, they would have been there by now. And not coming out for 15 minutes, they probably would have assumed that we weren't going to do anything about this protest and moved on. And then you also took us to the back of the school where no one could see us. Then you also made us be silent so no one could hear us. Sounds like you didn't want people to know what exactly was going on at Park, because you knew you were messing things up. You didn't want students to protest, did you? You completely screwed this up for us. Let me say, there are several students who are extremely upset about what happened. Myself obviously included. What happened to us was completely disrespectful. Like I said, you took away our opportunity to speak on a subject that could have affected us. And if I were to slip in a bit more of a personal message, again, to the directing principal, don't try to call me down to your office and give me some BS about, hey, I know everyone is allowed an opinion, but you need to think about what you're posting on social media, and I'm going to ask you to take that video down. Because you're not going to change my mind. You messed this up. You have to own up to that. And I wouldn't post a video like this one without the conviction to keep it up. So I'm going to go over everything I said briefly just to make my point extremely clear so no one can possibly mess up what I'm saying. What was supposed to happen was a student protest, organized by and led by students, alright? Well, at our school, Park High School, the staff tried to intervene and they completely messed things up. As I stated before, the memorial wasn't a bad idea, it was just at the completely wrong time, because as I said, that was our time to speak, and you took it away from us. That is extremely disrespectful. And just one more time, I'm not the only one feeling like this. Like I said, every student that I have talked to who was at the protest, even students who weren't at the protest and only heard about it, were deeply upset about this. We are going to have another protest. When? I don't know, but it will happen. I guarantee it. And we will not be helped by the staff at all. Spread this video to wherever you can. I want this to get everywhere around Park and even other places. I want this to get out to as many people as it possibly can to share the message of what happened. As I said before, my name is Jacob Nelson, and this was my message to Park.